Thank you very much. I think before we start, we'd like to probably introduce the topic of today. So I think clearly it's about a global delivery. You know, Biomérieux being a global company, so is Verizon. I think the role today of this in today's world, right, is to be able to manage a global project, right, by being able to apply these local specificities to each local market or BU, and that's kind of a topic for us to discuss today and give you some return of experience there. So key facts, I'd like to introduce Biomérieux for us, Stephanie.
Yeah, so this stuff I can do without stumbling so much. Biomérieux is a world leader in vitro diagnostics. We have offices in 49 countries and have a global presence in over 150. We are very familiar with things like COVID testing. Any kind of test that you would go and give a sample to your doctor for, blood, saliva, anything like that, is what we process and help keep the world safe with.
Thank you, Stephanie. On our side, Verizon Business is a global telecommunications company. Some of you might know we are present in 150 countries, so that's equals to 2,700 cities over the world. And our key practices today are not only around networks, of course, but also cybersecurity, securing the flows for our customers so they can safely keep their reputation and branding. And certainly it's another practice we have around advanced communications. That's where I sit. We look after our customers and take them to the journey of transformation into, you know, for the contact center and obviously the unified communications as well. So I think I guess the first question I have for you today, Stephanie, right, is about the strategy. I think clearly you embarked in this journey over 18 months ago now, I guess, something around these times. So what is your key requirements at the start of this project?
Yeah, so it's changed a lot. For me, this started about 6 years ago. I came from the US business commercial operations team and was really pushing for just basic CTI or computer telephony integration. Finally, about 2.5 years ago, we got a project together to do even more than that, which I was thrilled for, and moved to the IT side to be able to do the technical stuff. What we needed was a way to globally provide a central contact center platform so that we could harmonize across all of those locations. Biomérieux offices in each country work as independent companies, but we are also still part of one larger global organization. So we needed global reporting, we needed a centralized customer experience, and again, one tool that we could integrate with all of our other systems. So our CRM is Salesforce, we use SAP as enterprise management. We needed something that we could roll out in every location, in every subsidiary, but provide some consistency. So that was the sort of the overarching goal. Short term, we're a much better user interface for our managers and our agents. Again, a consistent experience for our customers, global reporting, and the ability to, as we grow and as our needs change, add on additional products like quality management, workforce management, performance management, all of that fun stuff. So we were really looking for a solution that had the future, that had scope to be really robust in the future, but that we could start with and roll out in phases.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. So basically, tell us how you came to choose Verizon, basically, or CX1 by Verizon, yeah, as part of your journey.
Yes, so I feel like I can't see you. I'm sorry. I'm going to come around here. We started off with a matrix of about 7 key categories, everything from features and functions to security, implementation, integrations, and then we broke that down into 150 detailed lines that we compared 4 major vendors across. And NICE, for lack of a better word, won. NICE really stood out, and I'll go into the VCC part in just a minute, but at the time we were looking at the NICE platform itself. Much more robust features, much more in-depth support. So not just an account team, but a technical account manager who is much more than a ticket chaser. He's really become my technical go-to on a daily basis. So the features and functions were really important, and the support, the level of the support offered was impactful. As well, the need to really and truly have the functionality to be global was just imperative. At the time, the business wasn't yet pushing for follow the sun, but we knew that we would be really remiss if we didn't build something that could accommodate that later. Just coming from a contact center background for 20 years, 25 years, everyone knows that's where we're going at some point, or something similar at least. The ability to use our resources everywhere, not just locally, and be redundant. Yeah.
Thank you for that. There's a reason why Stephanie speaks a bit of French. She actually did a master's. It was like 6 years, I think, and part of it was actually here in France. That explains later French she's got. As part of this study, right, I recall you did a dissertation, mainly around contact centers, customer experience, and what it could bring to the businesses, right? So what is, based on your experience, right, what is the comparison you would say, or how NICE came about, yeah, the other vendors that you...
Yeah, so again, like we've talked about some of the key points that came out of that matrix, but what I learned with the, because I had the benefit or the time to research this as an academic project, and with the support of all of my advisors and all that fun stuff, was I got to do some more in-depth stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do just as part of a vendor selection, and realized that I will be the first to say the cost of a cloud contact center is scary. It looks really big. Although I always wanted one, I had a hard time necessarily justifying it. But with the time that I could use from my thesis, I really came out to see that the investment in on-prem, even if you have one that's not being decommissioned, the investment in cloud got you so much more flexibility, was so much more agile and user-friendly. I can't tell you how much our teams now like the ability to say, change their operating hours without putting an IS ticket in or an IT ticket in to go and do that for them. So that was definitely one thing. Mm-hmm. I think really the agility. NICE in particular, especially felt more agile. One thing I didn't mention earlier, because I keep saying NICE, but obviously you're wearing the Verizon shirt. One thing that came down that helped with our decision, if we needed an extra push to use the NICE platform, Verizon has been our global telecommunications partner for years. So when it was not only picking the NICE platform, but then already having a really well-integrated partner that would sort of double up on that, was just really appealing.
Thank you, Stephanie. So let's move to some of the challenges you probably faced to this project. I think so far is the start. So you launched 7 countries. I think you're having plans to launch 5 more into next year. But overall, we saw before, you have some 49 countries in presence and some extra subsidiaries out there, right? So the project might expand for years to go. What are the key challenges that you found over the last 18 months?
There's a lot of speed bumps. Not that many major challenges from a technical perspective because the platform is really good and really adjustable. I think where we've had the most challenges has actually been on the human side, crossing so many borders. My master's was technically in international business. That's why it was through so many schools. And we talked about the human side of it all the time, that you need to adjust for cultural expectations. And I was really prepared for that. But not enough. Things like in the US, for example, everyone, as in customers calling in, really want first call resolution. They would much rather wait on hold for another 30 seconds, and when they reach someone, they want it to be the right person and get it done now. When we launched in India, we found that Indian customers were much more interested in getting a quick answer. They don't want to be in queue, on hold. They don't want to call back. They want someone now. So while we all look at the same KPIs in general, we're all looking at average handle time, speed to answer, service level. Customers in India wanted someone now, even if it was someone who maybe needed to explore their case or their issue, help them if possible, and then get them in touch with the right person later on. They wanted to be answered immediately. So that has been, not challenging from a technical perspective because the platform makes that really easy, but challenging just from identifying exactly what those needs are.
Cultural, the
exactly.
local needs.
And then, there's industry cultures as well. We're in vitro diagnostics, as we talked about, so that means there's healthcare. There's often a patient at the other end of the test. So if our equipment is down, our customers expect much more immediate service than, let's say, like, my kid's Xbox is out, That can wait a couple days. When you have a patient sitting there, that can't. So just being able to flex based on industry, if it's food, manufacturing, or inpatient care, as well as, of course, cultural across geographic regions.
Okay. So based on these challenges, how would you say Verizon and NICE helped you out to overcome them?
Well, because we have basically double the team, I think either one of the teams could have done this, of course, I have no doubt, but it's been really beneficial that we have double the resources and double the knowledge. For example, in Germany, we knew we were going to have challenges in small countries, less developed countries where there may not be such great infrastructure. When we launched Germany, I didn't see any of that coming. And we kept having complaints. We kept having these problems that we just couldn't really identify the root cause of. And finally, we realized it's because of aging infrastructure in the country. And because we're healthcare sites, a lot of these facilities were very old. Maybe they were built 60 years ago, and they didn't have the capabilities to use DTMF. So we kept saying, enter your number and press pound. And they kept not doing it. They kept complaining, and finally we sent someone out, and they said, I can't press pound. What they meant is they really physically did not have a pound button on their phone. And our Verizon account specialist, I think he reports to you, came in and he's like, oh yeah, I know that. And then he helped us figure out a way around it. So he actually recommended that we implement automatic speech recognition and helped us navigate a way to use automatic speech and DTMF depending on the customer's exact need. So we really, again, sort of everything we come up against, we have double the resources, double the knowledge. We have you, for example, who's our infra guru, and then Stefan, who's voice and VCC
CX.
Knowledgeable.
Very good. Thanks for that. And basically, based on this challenge as well, I would like to ask you, we heard this morning, I think, from Accenture, I think it was Virginia and Antoine, they mentioned how important it is to have a cross-team sort of governance, and how important it is as well to have the right level of sponsorship. So which roles do you think are required to make a project such as this one global project successful?
Yeah. There's all the standard stuff. But I think that we planned for, developers, business consultants. So one of my favorite things about this is I get to be a business consultant half the time, and I get to be a developer half the time. I can code, and then I can go meet with our customers and put on my business face. Excuse me. But I think one role that we didn't, it's not that we didn't see we needed, but that we didn't put in place soon enough, was really good advocates in the business. It became so evident about how important that role is when we launched the French subsidiary this spring. So April, May, France went live. And the difference in their go live and in some of the others was really profound, and it was because of their management. Their leadership team got involved. They learned the setup, they learned the system before their users did. They asked questions, they used the time, they used the trainings, and they really made a difference. So in fact, right here, I think, is our, there we go. This is Sylvain from Biomérieux, France. He sort of knows this, but maybe not all the way. We are about to ask him if he would serve as a business liaison and really a champion to help other managers understand what the platform can do and to encourage them to engage. So I think that's a real,
congratulations, Sylvain.
Really
Breaking news.
Yes,
job.
Thank you, Sylvain. So if you guys have questions, and especially in French, he's around today. So that's a really pivotal role. The rest of it is pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
The technical folks. I do think it's really important to have someone with deep contact center background who can help the business look for ways to improve. We don't want to just get this platform and hand it to them. They have no idea what all it's capable of. So someone who can go to the business, ask questions, say, what's your ideal, what's your blue sky, what are your pain points today, offer them solutions for that, but then help them be innovative for them and say, look, I know that this can do that. Have you thought about it? It might mean changing your business model a little bit, and we can do it slowly, but someone to plant seeds and help them really fully get the full benefit of the system.
Right.
That's really important with cloud as well. Coming back to the budget part, if you're only gonna, if you buy a Ferrari and you drive it like a Ford, why buy a Ferrari? If you're gonna buy the Ferrari, drive it. If you're going to buy this, use it. It's really an amazing system.
Yeah, fantastic. I think this morning we heard how important it is to have native features, and I think NICE ticks many boxes on that area, so it's good to see you are using the Ferrari as you should be using. Thank you.
We're trying.
Let me just move to lessons learned. Clearly here, there's customers like yourself, probably global customers with global implementations. So you have to summarize some of the key lessons learned. How would they look like?
Some of the key advantages?
Lessons learned. I think you have to share, basically what I learned through this journey, right? And make sure that the others don't make the same mistakes or they leverage your experience. What would you say is critical for them to hear from you?
Know your customer. Spend time with them. Ask them every question 3 ways over until they get so tired of you. But more than that, ideally, go sit with them, live a day in their life so that you can identify pain points that they may not even understand are there. When you can see an agent put down the phone like that, figure out why that is, because you can fix it. Just stay in touch, stay in tune with the people who are going to use this platform. Again, I can't say it enough. It's powerful, but you have to know what you need to get the benefit. Thank you.
Right, so going to the end of the time. I would like to ask you 2 more questions. Basically, one is about results. Obviously, you have now outcomes as part of your development. You have people using your platform, so administrative people, probably business units, agents. What would you think they are more pleased with as part of the solution? Basically, the change. What is good for them?
I think the first thing is that they really appreciate the integration. So, as I mentioned, we use Salesforce as our CRM. So the phone is embedded within Salesforce. So they don't have to have multiple platforms running, different windows to go to, and they can get data in. So obviously things like Annie, DNIS, we have all kinds of routing based on who's calling, what number they've dialed, what time of day it is, if it's sunny out or cloudy. I think they really appreciate that. And again, the user interface is just intuitive. From a higher level perspective, the business as a whole is really beginning to appreciate having global transparency. So while each subsidiary may not drive to exactly the same metrics, from a global perspective, the larger business can say, all right, we see that this metric is very different here than there. Is that because of a business process and we want it that way and it's okay? Or is it because this country, this location, has a best practice that we can share with everyone else?
Right. Makes total sense to me. And just to understand where you're going from here, because clearly this is not the end of it, probably it's the beginning. What is next? What is going to keep you busy over the next probably months, years?
Yep.
What do you see coming?
I'm really excited. We are launching our first Latin American country. So Brazil goes live in 3 weeks, I think. After that, we are implementing a regional hub that will sit in the India contact center, but take calls from 19. I'm looking at our project manager over here, who keeps us completely organized, and talk about a miracle worker. That's a role you need, actually. To come back to that, there's so many technical roles, and then there's so many business roles. You need someone who can communicate across both of them really effectively. I know that's the key to any good project, but wow, it really is. So we are launching a hub in India that will take inbound calls from 17 or 19 ASEAN countries. That goes live at the end of November. We're going to do the same in Mexico for Spanish-speaking Latin American countries in Q1. And then Spain and Portugal will go live. Oh, I want to tell you about this. We talked a little bit about follow the sun. I'm really excited that I can hopefully work our business towards what I like to call follow the skill. So we know that when we launch Spain and Portugal, they could theoretically support Portugal,
Mexico,
Brazil, Latin American countries. But what I really want is for us to have the ability to be truly global, so that anyone who speaks Spanish or who speaks French and who knows about our instrument, Vitec, anywhere in the world, if they can be available, they can take the call. It doesn't have to be follow the sun. It can really follow the skill. Gives agents so much more flexibility and gives the company so much more flexibility so that they can use their resources when, where, and how they're needed, not just locally or in a predetermined train, with daylight hours.
Right, and you leverage the whole power of being a global organization.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the topic of today. But I think we're fine with time, so thank you very much, Stephanie, for being with us today. I think it's a pleasure to have you all over from the US, and thank you everyone for listening to us on this session.
Yes, thank you all very much.